Hello and welcome to the Doug Geiser Show, Year 2, brought to you by the Ashland University Journalism and Digital Media Department. I'm Cade Krakis, and I'm joined by Doug Geiser, the head coach of the Ashland University football team. Coach, I appreciate you sitting down with me here today.
I got to amend it one way. It's 2024 GMAC champion Ashland Eagles.
Exactly, and for starters, wow, what a weekend it really was. I mean, there's an awful lot that went on, but we'll start with kind of the first thing and then make our way around through the rest. But that game against Kentucky Wesleyan, a nice, comfortable victory for you guys after the fact that you guys kind of found that rhythm offensively. What were some of your thoughts on that game?
Well, I don't know if comfortable is the word that comes to mind. Coach Young did a great job, and those guys were fired up, and they got their offense operating at a high level, and gave our defense fits. But our offense, I thought, played very, very well after the first couple series. Special teams was a game changer in a couple different ways, and so it was a nice team win. Nice team win, guys picking each other up.
Yeah, Coach, before we dive into kind of what the result meant for the team, obviously we can see it here on the table, but who are some of the game ball winners and standouts that we saw?
The game ball for the Gridiron Club game ball for the game goes to Mike Shimmick, who continues to have a tremendous senior season defensively, but he added to it this week with a blocked PAT and a blocked field goal. The defensive player of the game was Mason Graney. As Coach Sockerman, his coach, said, he had the best game of his career, and what a great way to have it your last home game. The offensive player of the game was actually two. Tyra Stevenson, who rushed for 181 yards and 5 touchdowns, but also Tyler Davis, senior wide receiver from Triway High School, my alma mater. A little shout out to the Titans there. Several key catches throughout the game, kept drives going, and also a lot of key blocks, especially in our bunch sets. Special teams player of the game, Zach Heinz, a stalwart for us the whole year on all special teams, blocked a punt for us. And then scout offensive player was Dorian Hamilton, tailback from Pickerington North. The scout defensive player of the week was Parker Hutton, defensive back. And scout special teams player of the week was Jericho Etok.
And when you guys were heading into this game, obviously you were competing for a chance to either be solely GMAC champions or kind of split it with a team that was up towards the top of the table with you guys as well. So what were the thoughts going into that game with so much being at stake?
Well, we tore it down to one thing. The thing we could control was we win, we get at least a share of the conference championship. That's it. That's all we worried about. And otherwise, you're spending a lot of energy worrying about things you can't control. So we put our focus into that. Seniors and our captains did a great job of leading us, and then Tiffin helped us out, and we thank them for that.
And how were you able to keep the guys' heads high, especially considering the loss to Walsh kind of put a damper on the chance to hold it solely no matter what with wins in those 2 games recently to finish the year? How did you keep everyone really set to go? You
just preach, hey, realize what you've accomplished and realize what's ahead. Don't look back. You can't control that at this point. And yeah, there was kind of a little bit of death knell, after the game, and you got somebody punching you in the gut. But I want to point out the positive there and what we're still playing for. That one game didn't make the season, and it took out, as far as controlling our own destiny out of our own hands, as far as the playoffs. But for the conference championship, it didn't. So just keep preaching that right there, and the guys recovered and put together a great week of practice, and we got the W on Saturday.
And so, Coach, how excited are you about getting the chance to hoist this conference title?
More than anything else, I am so proud of the players and the coaches. They work their tails off. I'm very demanding with what we do. I don't apologize for it, but they buy into the vision we have for the program and the standard of excellence we set. And it's nice to have confirmation of all their efforts with that trophy.
And Coach, obviously, you always talk about the players and the team itself, but this being just your second year at the helm of being in this head coach position, and you guys are able to find this conference title, what does it mean to you personally for that?
For me, it's confirmation too of some of the things I believe in. I've had some good mentors. One of the first texts I got after the game was from Coach Owens, and we ended up sharing a phone call, and it was very, very complimentary, and I was thanking him. And very rarely do you get a chance to become a first-year head coach at one of the best programs in the country, and I had the opportunity to do that. And as I've told people, it wasn't broke. Okay. Coach Owens and Coach Keller and Coach Martinelli and those have all come before him really set a great foundation for this program. And so I had a chance to step into that chair. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, I just basically don't have to screw it up. Okay, it's a little more than that, but it feels nice personally. But as you know, with me, it's not about me. I just happen to be in the chair, and like I said, it's about those who've come before us and the players right now.
And also this weekend, Coach, we found out you guys could be competing in the NCAA tournament come this next week. What were some of the initial thoughts when you guys found out? Because if I know correctly, it was at the time of a banquet as well, so there was a lot at stake there.
Yeah, we had our banquet last night at 5 o'clock, and so we're kind of on pins and needles. I got my phone with me. I know all the players did too, and they actually found out before I did. I was up speaking, being long-winded like I normally am, and get back to my seat, as we continue the program about 6:30. Look at my phone, I got like 12 texts. And Coach Nikolai's going, hey, Coach, we made it. So I had to confirm it first. And then I interrupted the next speaker before he started the next part of the program just to make it official. And what a great moment in the banquet. What a great moment for the banquet. You get a chance to celebrate the seniors, which we were doing anyway, but now you realize the book's not, it's not done yet. The chapter's not being written. So now they get a chance to go shoot our shot in the playoffs.
Exactly. What are those expectations for the team traveling on the road to West Virginia to take on Charleston?
Yeah, we got a very, very great big challenge in front of us. You got the top 10 team in Charleston. He's got a very high-powered offense and a very stingy defense. They've been a dominant team in the Mountain East for the last couple of years. Coach Sanders has done a tremendous job. And so our challenge is big, but, hey, we take a mantra the whole year. You respect all, you fear none. And you put the time in, you trust the process, and go give it your best shot, and, let the chips fall where they may.
We'll dive a little bit deeper into Charleston later in today's episode, but I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Yep.
It is now time for us to take a quick break and join you all back here shortly. A reminder to stay tuned through this commercial break. You're watching the Doug Geiser Show right here on AUTV. Welcome back to the Doug Geiser Show. I'm currently joined by senior wideout Tyler Davis and Coach Geiser. Tyler, I appreciate you sitting down with me here today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So when we take a look back at this past weekend and the season at large to start things off, it being your senior campaign, how do you feel it's gone so far?
So I'm going pretty well. I mean, we had a rough start going 0-2, but we came together as a team and we went on a good run where we had an upset with Walsh, and we knew how important our last game was with Kentucky Wesleyan. And we got that win, and it's been great.
And so speaking of that win against Kentucky Wesleyan, obviously it was a big day for you, being your senior day and all.
Yep.
So how were your thoughts, your emotions, and kind of everything leading up into that game?
It was pretty serious knowing that if we didn't get that win, it would have been my last game. So I think the team all took this week very serious, knowing that if we lost, we were done. If we won, we were DMAC champs and had a chance at playoffs.
And a big thing, too, as well, with situations like that, and with it being your senior day, there's a lot of seniors in that locker room of wide receivers as well. What's the chemistry been like between all of you guys so far throughout your career?
Oh, man, growing up with those dudes these past 4 years has been amazing. We had great leaders during our freshman and sophomore and junior year, and we actually lost one, Jen Joseph, after week 1, so we had to rally together as a group. And I think we all became great leaders and have grown a lot together.
And so, Coach, actually kind of building off of that a little bit, we've seen that the big thing with that Jen Joseph injury early in the season, you had to go to that next man up mentality and look to some other guys to help lead the locker room. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Tyler and others embrace that?
Absolutely. From Drew Johnson to Tyler Davis to Tony Panunzio, they've done a tremendous job of, hey, what needs to be done that day? And, it seems like a different guy is stepping up every single game in whatever role, whether it's making a key catch, making a key block, and they've been really unsung as a group as blockers this year, and it's really helped us develop that run game.
And so, Tyler, then building off that, the conference championship as well, what was the excitement like for you guys obviously taking home that title?
Oh, man, amazing. I mean, we have put so much work through camp, through the summer before that, through all season, to now get that goal of the conference championship is amazing. But now we got to look forward. We're in playoffs now. So we got to keep the dream going.
And speaking of playoffs, obviously after that win on Saturday, you guys were like, all right, let's celebrate this conference championship. But wait a minute, we got to see if we're going to make it to the NCAA tournament. What was the nerves like in the build-up to Sunday's announcement?
I mean, we were in the banquet when we found out, and I actually had my phone of it going on my quad. And when I saw it won, I looked over at my receivers coach. He gave me a head nod. I gave him a head nod, and now coming this week, ready to go.
And what's the expectations going to be like? What's the preparation looking like heading into this game against Charleston?
I mean, Charleston's a great team, but like Coach Geiser says, it's 1 week at a time. So we take every team serious, just like this week. A lot of film, hard work and practice, ready to go for this Saturday.
And for you, Tyler, how do you want to cap off your career as an Eagle?
Really just take it as far as we can with this playoffs. I mean, I want this team to do really well. I mean, I started off my junior year where in the bowl game we won that, and it'd be a great time to end my senior year going far in the playoffs.
And Doug, my final question for you here, Coach. When you look at Tyler's career and everything he's done throughout his time here, how do you summarize it?
I would say he's another Ashland success story. Coming in and just like I think he found out early on. Everybody that comes to us is a big man on campus, and by far the best player in his team. And then it's always a blow to the ego when you go to college and all of a sudden you're one of many. Okay, so there's always an adjustment for that, and Tyler's no different than any others there. But he persevered. He learned. He persevered. He matured. He took control of the process, took ownership of it more than anything else. And he started to see the fruits of that labor last year on special teams and capped it off with a great bowl game and scoring the winning touchdown. And this year just picked up right where he left off, and he added the piece of being a leader. And he felt comfortable in his own skin and being that leader. And it makes me really proud, especially since he's from the alma mater.
Of course. And Tyler, I appreciate you sitting down with me here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. When we return back from this next commercial break, we'll wrap up the show with Coach Geiser. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. You're watching the Doug Geiser Show right here on AUTV. Welcome back to the Doug Geiser Show, right here on AUTV. Coach, it's time for our final segment of the show here today. Before we dive into the rest of the schedule for the season, which is only one game, we have to talk about this week's upcoming matchup against Charleston. With it being win or go home, what are the emotions set to be like?
Well, you don't look at that portion of it because just like playing last week with the seniors last game, it gets very emotional, especially with the ceremony with the parents, and if you don't keep your focus and really work through that, you can tend to not play at the high level that you prepared for. So it's the same thing here. It's not really something that you publicize, you think about. You just stay locked right into that process right there. And then the postseason is a time, once we're done playing, now you can start reflecting a little bit. But right now, we still have work to do. And
how excited are you to have the team back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since the retirement of great head coach Lee Owens?
Well, that's the expectation here, isn't it? And that's the expectation is, and we preach it to the recruits, but it's real, is you compete for championships in the conference and you go to the playoffs and compete for the national championship. So that's the expectation. And for some it might be a daunting task, but it's a challenge I love. I love being in a place where that's the expectation, and they give you the resources to do it, and then you just got to go out and shoot your shot.
Exactly. And speaking of resources, both these two teams have a lot of resources at hand. Who are the standouts that fans should be able to look out for both these two teams?
With Charleston, it starts with their tailback, and his last name is Wright, Siobhan Wright, and he's rushed for over 2,000 yards in 11 games. He's one of the best, if not the best, tailback in the country, and he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink on their offense. They had an injury at quarterback. They've had a backup step in, and he's done a tremendous job as well. So very high-powered on offense, very, very high-powered on offense. They play an odd stack scheme on defense, and they're also very stingy giving up points. So we're going to have to be hitting on all cylinders there too, and they're really, really good on special teams. So, it's a big challenge for the Eagles next week.
All right, Coach, let's take a look at how the season has gone so far and what else we can see next week before we wrap up today's show. When you look at this schedule, how do you ensure the guys stay healthy, energized, and locked in now that the playoffs are here?
Well, what we do, it's something we think of as you plan the season. We really regulate how much time we have in practice. And we'll start out, we're usually 25 5-minute periods when the season starts. And then about, a third of the way through, about half of the way through, we cut it to 4.5 minutes per, which might not seem like a lot, but you're cutting 12.5 minutes off of practice. And then the last couple games there, you cut it back to 4 minutes per. So, and the challenge I still give the coaches, still get the same number of reps just the energy ends up being a little higher. You're not banging quite as much, and you won't get the same number of reps, but you strive to keep the energy up. So it's something we do as coaches because we can't back down the intensity in practice. But we can regulate that time. So we've done that there, and really emphasize as the season goes along. Our trainer, Sam Ohlweiler, reminds the guys, make sure you're getting your rest, make sure you're eating. Okay, if you need treatment, take care of your bodies there because it'll pay off in the end.
And lastly, Coach, how are you going to make sure the guys are prepared this weekend from the opening jump?
Well, you know me. We're gonna start up tomorrow with practice and our meetings at 2 o'clock, and go out for a good hour and a half, 2-hour practice. Repeat that on Wednesday, fine tune on Thursday, and then we'll head to Charleston on Friday, and hopefully be able to play the Charleston Golden Eagles very well.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Good luck this coming weekend.
Thank you.
As a reminder, be sure to tune into the Early Birds Word Tuesday mornings at 7:30 a.m. on 88.9 WRDL for exclusive coverage of AU football. I'm Cade Crackus saying thank you so much for tuning into the Doug Geiser Show right here on AUTV.